City Council, Clearlake City Council Chambers, 14050 Olympic Drive, Clearlake, at 6 p.m. Item is a roll call. Madam Clerk?
Sorry, one moment. Councilmember Kramer?
Here.
Councilmember Claffey?
Here.
Vice Mayor Purdock?
Here.
And Mayor Slutin?
Here.
Councilmember Overton is absent.
Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vice Mayor Purdock, would you do a small?
Yes. Our Father in heaven, we are so grateful for Thee, and we ask that Your Spirit would join with us to help lead and direct us so we may do good work for the city of Clear Lake, for the citizens and those who come to visit. We ask for a special blessing upon our staff and those who are needing special attention. We say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, do we have any changes to the agenda?
No modifications, Mr. Mayor.
Make a motion to accept the agenda as submitted.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Purdock and seconded by Councilman Kramer. Go to our electronic voting. Refresh.
Aye.
Aye.
I had it. There it is.
All right.
Aye.
Motion passes with the unanimous vote of the council.
All right, we go to public comment. This is the time for any member of the public to address the city council on any matter not on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. The Brown Act, with limited exceptions, does not allow the council or staff to discuss issues brought before under public comment. The council cannot take action on non-agenda items. Concerns may be referred to staff or placed on the next available agenda. Please note that comments from the public will also be taken on each agenda item, and comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. Do we have any here in the public to come up for public comment?
Yes.
Please approach the.
Forgive me because it's been so hot and I've been trying so hard to research my issue. And my issue has to
Ma'am,
do with...
You state your name, please.
My name is Laura Swartz-Arrington. I've been here since, my family's been here since 1965. I own property up in the avenues. And in the avenues, it's been quite a problem with the roads and stuff, as well as you probably know, each and every one of you. I mean, this has all changed for me because I'm from the old school here in Clearlake, if you know what I mean. I have researched a few of you, including you, youngster, city manager, and you've done great things with the technology. I wish you'd come home with me, sort of going. But and Purdock, you're involved in law enforcement, which is quite an important job. Being on the council is really great. I mean, Mr. Mayor, I read all about you. You settled here in 2011, correct? Permanently. And you're an engineer as well. And you've done, you've had businesses and stuff. One thing I want to ask you guys is how long you've been here in Clearlake, in the area?
Like I said, we can't comment on anything at this point.
You can't. Boy, things have changed. I know how long you've been here because my son moved you up here. You're the chief, yeah. And I haven't been able to come in and welcome you because this is my town. I've been here a long time. And I've been widowed. I'm a widow. I live alone. For the last 20 years, I've been taking care of my own property, of which I had no clue was considered private, a private road that I live on, even though, because the city is poor and everything, my brother and I and another person has been putting down gravel and stuff like that, and we had to build up our foundations and stuff because up there in the avenues is built on a hill. Can understand this because this hill is full of clay, very little dirt, but what dirt is there and has been there is it comes into your house, you know, and me being a disabled woman and a widow, oh boy, and on a very fixed income, have done my darndest. If I got any extra money, I'll work it. I'll take care of it, you know, and I was told by your public works dude in the office, because I normally would call the city referred me to them.
It's 3 minutes, ma'am.
Are you-
We'll give you a little bit more time, but do get to the point.
Thank you. Sorry. Okay. After I was told by the public works that my street was private, which, God dang, I wish I could keep these renters out because they're horrible. So the Measure V is not going to maintain the road, et cetera, and I have to go and get everybody's signature that's on the north side of Davis, not the south side, which makes no sense because Cedar Avenue goes for miles. Okay, I got copies of my deed and other deeds. My father put over 50 years here into this town, now a city. And me, if I friggin' don't follow up on what my father would do, my father would present you with the evidence that I have showing that this is not a private road. Now, what would you say to me asking of you, prove to me it's a private road?
I suggest you have that question and come here and talk to Public Works, and they can show you, ma'am. Thank you.
Is that right? Is that how you're going to do it?
They're the experts on that, ma'am, and they can determine whether or not we can't at this point.
So I'm zoned in all those streets in the same plat that Parker donated, did an addition to Clearlake Islands in 1925. Is that how it is, you guys?
Again, ma'am, I suggest you talk to our Public Works Department during regular business hours, and they will
I've
talk to you
talked to
about
them
it.
twice.
Okay, well then, you probably got your answer already. They are private.
So this is how it's pawned off. In 2019, I could come down here and there was holes in the road and stuff, and they sent somebody out to fill them up. My holes they're nothing compared to the rest of this town.
Okay, thank you for your comment, ma'am. Appreciate it. Any additional public comment? If not, do we have anybody on Zoom with public comment, ma'am, Madam Clerk?
There is one hand raised on Zoom, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor.
Go ahead, Zoom in person.
That would be Rupa Shekhar.
Okay,
Hello, council members.
you have
Can
3
you
minutes,
get-
ma'am.
Understand. I would like to know, will I be able to share a slide on the status of my property just as a readout, or it should be just verbal?
I'm sorry, we couldn't understand you.
Oh, can I share a slide? Will I be able to share anything on the screen?
I'm sorry.
She's asking you to share something on the screen.
Could you share? Yeah, but again, Rupa, 3 minutes, okay?
Got it. Noted. Okay, I cannot share. All right, that's fine. So just want to keep you guys posted in terms of the status update of the 2 properties that I own. Oh, fantastic. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share. So let me quickly, I hope that my time starts as soon as I start sharing. Give me a second, please.
Tell her when it started.
Okay, can you all see my screen now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, let me try one more time and I will share here. Can you all see my screen?
Now we can. Go ahead. Your 3 minutes is going.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for the time. So on the June the 2nd, for the 14525 Lakeshore Drive property, council members gave me time till end of July to get the permit. And as per the resolution stated in June the 2nd, the requirement that was mandated to me was to get all the structural engineer drawing to be submitted by July the 31st and get the permit by then. So on July the 30th, I submitted all the structural engineer plans plus the architecture plan intended used to be hoteling and restaurant. The packet included a building permit application form, the permit fees, conditional use permit form, which was really not needed because hoteling and restaurant is permitted as per the zoning. Still, city asked me to submit those forms. I submitted it, and I got the clearance from code enforcement as well. And ADA improvements were provided in the plan, including elevators, etc. And we deferred sprinkler plans. The reason because the focus of the discussion was to make sure that I submit the plan to address the code violation, and the sprinklers could come later. On July the 11th, city responded to my package, and instead of proceeding further with the intended use, they questioned about why we are using it for vacation rentals and apartments, and that's why the conditional use permit was required, whereas the plan clearly stated it is for hoteling and restaurants. So they pretty much kind of took 11 days after I submitted the application to come back and question a wrong use of the permit of the plan that was shared with you all. And in addition to that, they wanted us to give the interior design for the restaurant, again, not required for solving the code violation, while I agree that it is required for habitability or before I rent it out to anyone. And then the sprinkler plans and alarm plans, and they wanted an update asbestos discharge report that was shared with us on July the 11th. Then fast forward on July the 12th, we responded to the city with an updated question saying that confirming that it is a hoteling and restaurant and it's not the apartment. And then the interior design will be deferred. Then city responded on July the 14th, stating that they got the clarification and they added few more to the requirement, saying that they want the trash and the recycle enclosure plan, again, not part of the code violation. Curb gutter sidewalk fees, again, not part of the code violation. An additional signature from 4 different county organizations, which I anticipate that probably is required. Then fast forward, we submitted the 3 signatures out of the 4 county organizations, and we have submitted the updated hoteling plan. Initially we had 4 rooms, but then they asked us to add 2 more rooms. We have added those, and trash enclosure design has been submitted, and the parking requirements have been submitted. Now to address that. Okay, just want to share that I'm meeting the requirements as per the city's.
Your time is up.
So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Got it, thank you.
Okay, we have any more public comment on Zoom, Madam Clerk? If not, we close public comment. We go to the consent agenda. Anybody wants to pull anything from the consent agenda? If not, open to the public. If only the public wants to pull anything. If not, we'll bring it back to the council.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Kramer and a second by Councilman Claffey.
All right.
All right. Okay, we go to, is that right?
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
Okay, we'll go to city manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. A few items. So as you know, the Aguilin fire broke out today off of Highway 53. Thankful for the quick work of our fire personnel and, of course, law enforcement in safely evacuating a number of folks. There was an arrest made related to the fire. Earlier this week, Chief White attended the Lakeport City Council meeting, and they unanimously approved the law enforcement services agreement that was approved by the council between the two cities, and our officers are already signed up for shifts to help support Lakeport. The design of 18th Avenue through the airport property is coming along well. We're mainly just waiting on some final comments from PG&E in order to get that project out to bid. After almost a year of negotiation, we're I think close to being able to purchase the last piece of property that's needed from AmeriGas, a vacant piece of land, in order to accommodate that road construction. So probably at the next meeting, there'll be an agreement coming before the council related to that. Second MODOC project is coming along well. I think paving is starting in about 2 weeks.
Doing a curb starting next week.
Okay. Chip seal will start next Wednesday. So excited to get that going again. And then we're also initiating the design work on various other road projects for construction over the next 2 years. And so that's the debt financing that the city council moved forward with. And so everything's consistent with what we showed the council at the time that moved forward, primarily Clearlake Park area, south of Redbud Park, finishing up chip seal in the avenues for all of the really inhabited areas. It won't cover every street and avenues, but the ones that have a number of houses on them, we'll be able to complete all of that. And then, so those are the main areas, and we have a plan on how we're gonna kind of hopefully split up that design work, probably with a couple of firms to move stuff forward as quickly as we can. We did have a meeting with PG&E, I can't remember, I think it was earlier this week, with their Rule 20A staff, and that's the undergrounding tariff funding that's set aside. The city has about $3.4 million in that fund. We tried to talk through some options on that. Unfortunately, there's been a number of changes through the PUC that made the use of that funding even more difficult and complicated than it was previously. And now they're telling us that any project that you want to try to underground is going to be at least 3 years out. So it's really difficult to plan on how to use that funding. The lease for the ARCO project was signed at the end of last week, and so they are completing their construction documents and expect to be submitting building permits on that here pretty soon. Same with J&L Market. That project was approved by the Planning Commission. I talked to the owner recently, and they're finishing up their drawings as well. And so that project should be starting fairly soon. Just a couple of reminders, primarily for the council. On this one, make sure you connect with City Clerk Swanson on any Cal Cities conference arrangements, so we can finalize all that. And then the city council candidate deadline is at 5 p.m. next Friday. I need to make an appointment with the city clerk. So thus far, only 2 candidates have pulled papers, with one submitting and being verified today, which is our mayor. So anyway, I think with that, that's my report.
Councilman Kramer.
Yes, I'll actually be in Monday morning to finish mine up. Not a lot to report. Vice Mayor Purdock and I met with City Manager Flora and Nicole Flora with EDC. I'll let Vice Mayor Purdock speak to that if he likes. Last Saturday, we poured the concrete for the storage warehouse at the community center. Hope to order the building probably early next week, and would love to see it standing sometime in September. And hopefully in time for me to do a report on it during my, since I'm the speaker chairman at the judge's breakfast in September. I've only got, so far I have one speaker lined up. Moke Simon has agreed to speak on Prop 27 on September 15th. And that's all I have.
Councilman Claffey.
I attended the Visit Lake County meeting this week. The initial tourism district agreement is a 5-year agreement. So we are in the process of extending that potentially. We're discussing terms with the board. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was Zone Haven. So again, today we had, a fire close to our city limits. I'm on social media. I try to pass information along as quickly as possible. There's still, I think, a little bit of confusion around Zone Haven. And I think it's a fantastic tool. And the more we can talk about it with the public, the more we can get people comfortable with understanding their zones, I think is really important moving forward. I think the pushback was less than it was last year. I remember doing the same initiative around the Cache Creek fire, or at least post-fire, trying to get the word out. So I just call on all of our city council members, everyone who's watching at home, please go on Zone Haven, figure out what your zone is, let your neighbors know. City Manager Flora, if you could, I'd love to get at least a social media post into rotation, because when a fire's happening, that's not the time to know your zone. It's prior. I have it up on my refrigerator, what my zone is. I'm, obviously involved, so I know where all the links are. Take the time now before there's an emergency to look through that and figure out how it works. The other thing I would ask, and this is maybe it's a future agenda item or it's a gray area, would be I'd love to have a presentation again at some point, particularly when there's a lot of folks in the audience around Zone Haven, just so we can continue to talk about it, because I think it's a new tool, it's a valuable tool, and the more we can promote it, the better. Thank you.
Mayor Purdock. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, Mayor, may I interject one thing in response to your questions about Zone Haven and fire? I'm leading an effort to organize a fire safe council. It would encompass basically the Lake County Fire Protection District boundaries, and Zone Haven is one of the things that will certainly be on our list of items to try to make work better. So stay tuned. I'll get it going. If you have any suggestions for that, love to hear them.
That's Mayor Purdock.
Really have nothing to report, Mr. Mayor. Just taking up what Councilmember Kramer mentioned. We are talking with the Economic Development Corp and looking forward to seeing that open soon here in a little community office near you on Lakeshore Drive.
Sounds good. I didn't have a whole lot except today when I met here in the council chamber with about 15 residents that were concerned about several items, speeding, trash, homeless, a bunch of different items, and we talked it through. I thought it was a good idea, and I got to thank Chief White. He is always right on point with his response to those issues, so appreciate it, Chief. Thank you. That's it. Any future agenda items? If not, we close the hearing at this point, and we'll go to closed session.